right. We have started.
I was waiting for you to share it in our Kingdom Reach.
It's there.
Perfect.
All right, it's
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock,
All right.
right on the dot.
Excellent. So, well, welcome, friends, to another exciting lesson on the top 10 leadership lessons from the Bible or from Bible characters.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really excited to share tonight's lesson and to share tonight's character. As a matter of fact, because of this person, we're here today. If this person wasn't alive, God would have just wiped the entire earth out. But guess what? Hey, this person, So I'm looking forward to us diving into that person and who he is.
I think you just gave it away.
Well, it all depends on how many Bible students are out there.
Well, I mean, that's a Sunday school question. But it's all good. So before we get started, I want to just share something that happened to me last week.
Yes.
It really blessed my heart. I reached out to someone on last week just to make sure that she knew that I had not ghosted her. Because I told her that I was planning to do something.
Yes.
And, there was a little bit of a delay. So I wanted to make sure she knew that, I didn't just drop off the face of the earth and just, neglect what I told her I was going to do.
That's important.
Yeah, it is. So she responded to me. She said, "Thank you for letting me know, but I didn't think you ghosted me." She actually kind of chuckled.
That's good.
And she said, I've known you long enough to know that if you didn't really intend to do it, you wouldn't have even engaged the conversation.
That's right.
Now, for me, that was huge. That was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And she may not have even realized how those words would have impacted me. But I think you, having been married to me for as long as you have, can understand why I was so blessed by that statement. Because I know that I don't hit the mark every time, but it's good to know that there are people who, you've developed some type of a reputation that warrants a comment like that.
Well, good.
Yeah. So one of the wealthiest and wisest kings in history wrote this statement. He said, "The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity." Let me say that again. The integrity of the upright guides him, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. And if you don't believe what I said, you can go look it up in Proverbs 11:3.
King Solomon had a lot to say about what we are going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
He did. And so our lesson for tonight is simply this: integrity helps you as a leader to stand out from the crowd.
I think you should say it again, Tana, because that's powerful.
Yeah, integrity helps you as a leader to stand out from the crowd.
Because I wonder how often do we think of integrity as helping us to stand out? We know that integrity is a matter of standing up.
Yeah.
And as you said it earlier, that integrity actually helps you to stand out.
Yes, it does.
And it helps you stand out above the crowd.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good. Well, tonight's character is Noah. And so if there's anyone who knows anything about Noah, Noah.
It's the accent, y'all.
Noah. So Noah, and we know about Noah with building the boat, the ark, we should say. And Noah knew all too well what we're talking about as it relates to integrity. As a matter of fact, during Noah's time, morality or integrity was at an all-time low.
Mm-hmm.
The intent of man's heart, the intent of woman's heart was all the time bent towards evil. Can you think about that? I mean, we don't think of evil all the time. Thank God for the work of his Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine living in a world where every single thought and every single intention is evil.
Mm-hmm.
And so during Noah's day, that was the situation. And it grieved God's heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we know, Tanis, man looks at the outward appearance.
But God looks at the heart.
But God looks at the heart. And when God looked at the heart during Noah's days, he was sad. He was so saddened that it grieved him to the point where he regretted ever making humanity. Now that's a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
When the Creator regrets having made humanity.
Mm-hmm.
But when God looked at Noah, he smiled. Because Noah was a man who chose integrity, even in the midst of a world that was not integrous,
mm-hmm.
where integrity was not a value or a priority. And for me, that speaks volume.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes leaders are placed in a situation
mm-hmm.
where they are the only one who are standing for what's right. A youth may be placed in a situation where she's the only one who is doing what's right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost as if, what is so special about you? Why do you have to be so different?
Mm-hmm.
But for Noah, it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
For Noah, he had an audience of one.
And that's what we have to remember. I know that we talk to our daughters about the importance of standing up and doing what's right, no matter what other people are doing or no matter what they say.
Oh, yes.
Because there is that one person that we are to please.
That's true. That's true. So as I looked at Noah's life, as I ponder Noah's integrity, I noticed this, that God came to Noah and told Noah to build an ark because it was going to rain. And not just rain, it was going to flood. And not just flood, it was going to flood worldwide.
Mm.
Now,
and what's rain?
Exactly.
Rain what?
Noah's like, what's rain? Like, Noah had never seen rain. Here in Florida, we see these sprinkler systems, and they water the plant, they water the ground. In Noah's time, all Noah saw was water coming up out of the ground to water the ground. Mm-hmm. No one had ever seen rain. Mm. But God said it's going to rain. Mm. Noah believed wholeheartedly that it was going to rain. He believed wholeheartedly for 120 years that it was going to rain. So if you can imagine his neighbor saying, look at that fool over there thinking that God actually speaks to him. Mm-hmm. But Noah it didn't matter to Noah. The words of people didn't matter. Noah had a value, and his value was, I'm going to trust God. I'm going to be a man of integrity because my God is a God of integrity. Mm-hmm. But the second thing is that Noah not only trusted God wholeheartedly, Tom, Noah obeyed God completely. Now think about that. When it comes to our work, do we take shortcuts? Do we do what others are doing? Or do we give it our absolute best? Mm-hmm. Actually, the text said that in the story that Noah did exactly what God told him. Now, if you're going to build a large boat, there's going to be some detail. Sometimes I wonder if Noah had a C personality, you know, stickler for detail.
Hey, gotta do it right.
So when we consider the word integrity, what comes to mind? And there are two gentlemen who was giving us something to say there about integrity. Mm-hmm. And one is John Maxwell, our mentor. Mm-hmm. So John Maxwell says, integrity is who you are
when nobody is watching.
When no one else is looking. Yeah. You see, and that's so true. Again, it goes back to the audience of one, that God is watching. And then Lauren Wolf, in his book, The Bible on Leadership, said that, and I like this. I like what he said, integrity is. Integrity is the measure of leadership. So Tana, why do you think integrity helps leaders to stand out from the crowd?
Well, I think just by virtue of doing what nobody else is doing causes you to stand out. And when you think about it, especially in our culture, there, at times, doing what's right goes against the grain of our culture, unfortunately. And so when you do stand up,
yes,
and you do something that others would look down upon because they're thinking, I know you said, the neighbors would probably say, look at that food. Or I said in Alabama Southern terms, they probably looked at him and they were like, bless his heart. Just bless his little heart. Poor thing. But it causes you to stick out.
It does.
And sometimes it causes you to be ridiculed. Because, nobody else is doing it. Then at times it just causes you to stand out and to set yourself apart from the competition.
That's true.
And that's really what kind of measures that leadership. You're standing apart. You're set apart from the other competitors because you're doing something at a higher level. Your standard is higher. You've raised the bar, as we like to say. You've raised the bar and you've reached higher.
Yes.
In a Gallup research poll, I think back in 2017, it was determined 68%, not 28 or 38, but 68%, which is a large number, worldwide, believed that corruption was widespread among businesses.
Wow.
I mean, where's the faith in that? And that's, 68% worldwide. And in America, it was determined to be 60% of the adults believed that in America, businesses were corrupt. So just think about all of the scandals that, we've become aware of just in the past 10 years. I mean, scandals by large companies, large corporations, and, even sadly enough, some prominent spiritual leaders, the witness. It's just been, kind of being destroyed. But that's just the large corporations. I mean, what about all of the small businesses and, the people that we don't know anything about? The moral and the ethical failures on that end, we don't even know about those. But somebody does, because that 68 and 60%, they're really high. It's really high.
Wow. Integrity is important, Tom.
Yeah, it is.
Integrity is important. It's important personally. It's important in family. It's important in community. It's important globally. Integrity matters. And when we think of integrity as to why it's important, there are many reasons, but three comes to mind.
Okay.
Three come to mind. First is that integrity is foundational to a healthy relationship.
Yes.
Show me a relationship that's strong, and you can bet that at its core, there is integrity.
Yes.
Show me a relationship that's falling apart and it is losing integrity.
Because integrity assumes trust.
Yes.
So you cannot have a healthy relationship when there is no trust.
Yes.
When the trust is broken, the relationship is not strong.
That's true.
It's an integrity issue.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing is that integrity reveals your values. It's real difficult to be a person of integrity and not be clear about your values.
And when we talk about values, we're really talking about the things that are the most important to you.
Yes.
These are the things that you live by and you would actually die by.
Yes.
When you think value,
yes,
it's of worth. It's of great worth.
And it's such a great worth that it drives your decision making and your decision managing. So let me say a little bit more of that.
Yeah, do that.
When we choose our values, we choose our values early so that when we are faced with a situation that challenges our values, we simply manage what we have chosen to do. So when it comes to integrity, you have to choose early that I'm going to be a person of integrity. I value integrity because that integrity will be tested. It will be tested.
You have to make the decision up front.
Make the decision up front and then manage it later.
Yeah.
And that's what values helps us to do. It helps us to decide up front and manage it or decisions later. So yes, when we think of integrity, it's foundational to healthy relationships. It reveals our values, but integrity also results in wholeness. What do I mean by wholeness?
Tell me about that.
When we talk about wholeness, we're talking about who you are on the inside aligns with who you are on the outside. There is that oneness. But on the contrary, if who you are on the inside conflicts with who you are on the outside, then you have to cover up. So you're thinking about the guilt, the stress, and that affects you as a person. Whereas by just simply coming and saying, hey, this is what happened, this is how it happened, and just being real, then it actually helps you to be whole.
Yes, and you can sleep at night without always feeling like somebody is watching over your shoulders.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the reason why integrity is healthy. But duplicity destroys. It really does. So I have a question for you, Ton. How would you play out integrity on a practical level? How do you see integrity playing out on a practical level?
Well, I personally think that we could, explain that just by asking some questions. There are some questions that we can ask ourselves just to reveal if we truly walk in integrity. Because some of us may think that we're walking in integrity.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that the scripture encourages is that we should watch ourselves and we should test ourselves. We should give ourselves checkups. so we should give ourselves integrity checkups.
Yeah. And it's kind of like what scripture says, you have to work out your salvation with fear and trembling.
That's true.
That's part of that test, that checkup right there. So some of the questions that I would ask, do you have a habit of lying in order to cover up or to protect yourself? Or are you willing to just be direct and straightforward and tell the truth no matter what you may have to suffer? Are you only concerned about yourself, or are you concerned about what's right? So that's one of the things. And lying, it just sets off so many things.
And here's the thing. It's one thing to check yourself. It's another thing to be in a relationship where there is accountability.
And let others check you.
And let others check you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that is a part of integrity.
Yes.
Being willing to be held accountable.
Actually, Tana, I don't trust anyone who say, I don't need accountability. I really don't. Because every one of us, don't care how strong we are in integrity, we need accountability. We have to be willing to accept the hard truth from the people who truly care about us and want the best for us. So another question that I would ask, and this is very practical, can others rely on you? So do you follow through with what you say you're going to do? When you tell someone that you're going to do something, can they count on you to do it? Or
Are you one of those people? I mean, unfortunately, there are some people that I know personally where when they tell me they're going to do something, I give very little weight to it, and I almost expect them not to do it simply because of the track record. That's a major lack of integrity.
And then you have others who, when they say they're going to do it, you can tell even when they have to go the extra mile, you know that they're going to do it. To the point that sometimes you're like, hey, the situation changed, and I know, so you even feel sorry that they have to go when they're like, you know what, I gave you my word, I'm going to follow through on my word.
And you know, sometimes things happen, life happens, and you know, circumstances arise, and you may not be able to follow through the way that you intended to.
Yes.
However, integrity says the moment you realize that you're not going to be able to do it, reach out to that person.
That's
and
integrity.
follow up with that person and say, hey, this is the situation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know, will you release me? And just try to see how you can work things out.
Yes.
But don't just drop people and just never show up, never call, and think that it's okay, because it's not. And that breaks trust. And that is, you know, one of the leadership qualities that we don't want to have, because nobody wants to follow someone who, you know, they don't believe what you say.
Because you never know who the real person is.
Right.
Is it the person talking, or is it the person that should be? You know. So that's the whole thing with integrity, is that once it starts to break, you start to want. And here's the thing about integrity, Tom. When we are in a new relationship, people give more trust on your words. They put more emphasis on what you say. But as the relationship grows,
practice what you preach.
They put more emphasis on actions. Because in relationships, you haven't been around the person long enough, so you don't know their track record. So you're going to take them at their word. But as time goes by, you're going to be more looking for actions. And here's the thing. I love what John Maxwell said. If you think that the benefits of integrity are great on the front end, when you're consistent in being a person of integrity, oh gosh, on the back end, oh gosh, it's even greater on the back end. It's like a compounding effect where people know you to be a person of integrity, that it just keeps building and it just gets better and better and better.
Here's another one, and I'll just give maybe one or two more, because I have a long list. You know, this is a conversation that we have quite often. You know, integrity is very important to me. As a leader especially, do you own up to your mistakes? Or do you cast the blame? Are you always the victim? Or are you willing to admit when you are wrong and own it and do what's right in order to correct it? Now, you know, as leaders, a lot of times, you know, it can be easy for us to cast the blame. Well, it's not my fault. It's such and such's fault because they didn't do it the way they were supposed to. But, you know, as a leader, what was your responsibility in that? Did you actually lead them the way you were supposed to lead them? Are you owning your part of the issue?
You know, I know we're speaking to different individuals, but especially those who are of a kingdom mindset. So, you know, when you have a kingdom mindset and Christ is at the center of who you are and what you do, then faith is important. And there is a correlation between your faith in God and your faith in being a person who is going to be vulnerable and a person who's going to be transparent and say, you know what, I was wrong.
We don't throw people under the bus.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because here's how it has helped me, Tom. Because Jesus is truth. It says, the more you are with the wise, you become wise. The more you are with someone who is a person of integrity, they start to rub off on you. And Jesus is a king of integrity. He's a king who has integrity. And I've learned that just by being around him, he's going to check you. And whenever there is any deceit or if there's any duplicity, he's going to bring it up. He's going to correct, and he's going to show how to make it right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why you have to have that accountability within. You have to have the accountability around each other.
Yeah, because we all have blind spots.
We do.
We have blind spots. So I'll just stop right there.
Oh, really?
I want to go on. Can I just give maybe one or two more? One more? Okay. All right. So here's the thing. And Briston, you mentioned that whole matter of being duplicitous.
Mm.
Are you the same person in public that you are in private?
Yeah.
Do you have a separate life?
Mm.
That is very important.
Mm.
When I see you, and this is especially leadership in the church. I mean, we're talking about being kingdom minded no matter where you are.
Yes.
But we're also, we especially want to look at those who are leading people from, at a spiritual level.
Yes. And we're not asking leaders to be perfect.
No.
But we're asking leaders to be honest.
To be real.
Mm-hmm. Because people want to follow not someone necessarily who is perfect, but someone who is trustworthy.
Yes. Trustworthy.
Yeah. Someone who is real.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who is authentic.
Mm-hmm.
They're more inclined to follow someone who will say, hey, I made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I messed up. But guess what? Here is
mm-hmm.
how I'm going to make it right and
mm-hmm.
follow through with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
That's good. So how do we build integrity? That's something I think is a very important question, mm-hmm. because if you're a person of integrity, you can't just stay there. It has to be something that you are consistently developing mm-hmm. and growing. You're a person of integrity in 2000. Hopefully by 2010, you have grown in your integrity. By 2020, you've grown in your integrity. By 2025, you've grown in your integrity, because it's a matter of maturation. It's a matter mm-hmm. of growing in integrity.
And we have to nurture integrity.
You have to nurture integrity.
Yeah.
Even if you're a great person of integrity,
mm-hmm.
you see, you want to keep nurturing. And Tom, 3 things come to mind.
Mm-hmm. I know one of them that you've already said is the whole matter of truth.
Yes.
The importance of truth.
So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because I really take this one at heart. The reason I delight in truth is because Jesus is true. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't start like that, okay? But he did a work in my heart and continue to do a work in my heart. Mm-hmm. That, Briston, I value truth. Mm-hmm. And because I value truth, I not only value it, I delight in truth. I mm-hmm. love truth. Mm-hmm. And when I look at Jesus and realize that for him, speaking truth is not something that he has to do or he needs to do. Speaking truth is something that he wants to do. Mm-hmm. And that's the motivation. When you are speaking the truth, do you speak it because you have to, you need to, or because you want to? And when people realize that you speak truth from a place of delight and not just from a place of duty, they are more likely to trust you. Mm-hmm. Because it's caught and it's not just taught. They realize that this person is a person who cares about me. Mm-hmm. This person is a person who I can trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also when you're doing it out of delight, they can trust you because they know that you love truth so much, the truth is going to come naturally for you. Yeah. If you're doing it out of duty, it's going to show through. And there's always going to be this thought in the back of their mind, at what point are they going to get tired of this duty? Yeah. How long can I believe the words that are coming out of their mouths, because they don't seem to really enjoy telling the truth.
As I was thinking about tonight's lesson, mm-hmm. Back to Lord Wolf on his mm-hmm. book, The Bible and Leadership, mm-hmm. he said that when you think about Zacchaeus, mm-hmm. that short tax collector, I guess in our time it would be someone who works for maybe the IRS, mm-hmm. And people didn't like Zacchaeus. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason they didn't like the tax collectors is because they were working for the Roman government,
Mm-hmm.
and they were being oppressed by the Roman government, being Jews. But the other reason they didn't like tax collectors is because they would also take a little extra for themselves. So in addition to being oppressed, they're being cheated. So in Jesus's time, when a tax collector was walking on the street, people would actually spit at them.
Wow.
That was just a disgust.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
They did not trust them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can imagine when Jesus encountered Zacchaeus and said, Zacchaeus, he actually invited himself to Zacchaeus' home. I'm going to your house today. Zacchaeus was excited.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's one thing. He invited his other tax collector's friend. This great prophet is coming to my house.
Mm-hmm.
After eating with Jesus, Zacchaeus said, Lord, I will give 4 times. If I've stolen from anyone, I will give 4 times. I'll restore that to those who, if I've stolen, I'll restore it 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
No, here's a point on
Mm-hmm.
that if you're not a person of integrity, when you come in contact with Jesus, you want to become a person of integrity. Mm-hmm. Zacchaeus went above and beyond. And sometimes it's the people who have truly have a heart, a change of heart as it relates to being duplicitous,
Mm-hmm.
that they're the one who said, God, you are true.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be true. Now, Zacchaeus wanted to be true because he went above and beyond. Mm-hmm. So I share that because Zacchaeus was what was around Jesus. The next thing is that the way you build your integrity is by depositing into your trust account. Now, what do I mean by that? And this is not original with me. I heard that on Me with Maxwell, and it really resonated with me. Mm-hmm. When you think about your trust account, every day you have an opportunity to either to make a deposit into your trust account or a withdrawal. The more you deposit into your relational capital by being a person whose words and actions are aligned, the more people will trust you. And the more trust there is with others, the more influence you have with them and the greater kingdom impact you can have with such an individual. Mm-hmm. So I like the idea of a trust account. Build your trust daily, mm-hmm. With others. Mm-hmm. The next reason is do what's right. In order to be a person of integrity, you must do what's right in order to build on your integrity.
Yeah. And that takes consistency.
It takes consistency. Mm-hmm. Because, and here's the thing, why do you want to consistently do what's right? You want to be someone that people know, like
and trust.
Mm-hmm.
And consistency helps you to build a habit.
Yep.
The more you do it, then it becomes automatic.
Yes.
You're so used to doing what's right.
Yeah. Integrity is something that doesn't happen in a day.
Mm-hmm.
It happens daily.
Daily.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
All right. That was good. That was good.
So, do we have any challenge for?
Yeah, I want to leave, with a question for those of you who are watching, just to think about over the next week or so. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to reflect on the past couple weeks, maybe last week, maybe the last 2 weeks. Just reflect on your past couple weeks. And I want you to see, can you think of a situation where you could have shown better integrity? Just one. Good. I mean, we all have these little cracks.
We do.
That we tend to allow things to slip through. But can you think of a situation where you could have shown better integrity? And if so, maybe you don't have any situations like that, and praise God for you. But if you can think of a situation where you could have done better in that area, I want you to either, one, think about how you may be able to go back and correct it, or if you don't think you can correct that situation, what can you do better the next time you're in a similar situation? So this is part of us reflecting and testing and evaluating ourselves. And not just for the sake of saying, oh, yeah, I messed up in that. Okay, yeah, we all mess up. But now what? That's the question.
That's good. The reason I like that reflection,
Mm-hmm.
because whenever there is genuine change of heart,
Mm-hmm.
you're more thinking about others
Mm-hmm.
and God than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that reflection helps you to really dig deep
Mm-hmm.
and to really test your motive.
Yeah.
Because integrity has to do with motives.
Right. So I want to repeat that again, just in case you missed it. I want you to think back on the past couple weeks and just see if you can think of a situation that you could have shown better integrity in. And then either one, see how you can go back and correct it. Or if you can't correct that particular situation, I want you to consider what can you do better the next time you're in a similar situation. Because remember what Briston said earlier about value. Sometimes you have to make the decision beforehand. You want to make the decision beforehand, you'll be more likely to do the right thing when the situation does occur. So prepare for that next time. What can you do better?
That's good.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up today, I want to really give a quote from Warren Buffett. Janet Lowe, in her book Warren Buffett Speaks: Wit and Wisdom from the World's Greatest Investor, reveals this. What Mr. Buffett's look for when he's hiring. Listen to his hiring criteria: integrity, intelligence, and energy. Hire someone without the first, and the other two will kill you. I'll say that again. So Warren Buffett said when he's hiring, integrity, intelligence, and energy. Hire someone without the first, integrity.
Without integrity.
And the other two will kill you.
Wow.
Now think about it. A person who doesn't have integrity but have intelligence and energy, oh gosh, you don't want that person on your team. Yes.
I can see how that yeah, I can see how that can destroy.
Yep.
Yeah. It will cause them to snowball, and it will mess you up too.
Yep. And when it snowballs, others are affected. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So we want to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for your comments, your questions. Now, there's a sneak preview of what's coming up for next week, Monday.
Is there? Yes. So if you've been receiving the emails that we send out, you'll notice that we mentioned something about a mentorship program.
Oh, yes. Really
so we're just
excited.
going to give a sneak peek into what that is going to look like in the year 2021.
Yes.
If you're not receiving the emails, you should be.
Yes, please.
So go to our website, and actually I'll have it just kind of at the bottom. It's e3reachconsulting.com. But go there and just sign up. You'll get the leadership newsletter and all of the other updates that we send out, just to make sure that you are in tune with what we're doing. So yeah, that's it.
And as we wrap up, and we're talking about integrity, be the leader who stand out from the crowd. Raise the bar and
reach higher.
Thank you.
We will see you next week, Lord willing.
Yes.
Bye-bye.